Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Okay, good morning councillors, good morning staff and good morning listeners. Look, firstly I'd like to open the meeting and for this special meeting that's been called today. I'd like to pay acknowledgements to country. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet today, the Darumbal people, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to our neighbouring Aboriginal peoples within our local government area, the Gungaloo Nation people, the Barada, Kabalbara and Yadamarala people, and also acknowledge the Torres Strait Islander people whose land is in the Torres Straits but who live and work on Aboriginal land. So thank you, councillors. This is what we call about being nimble. We had our council meeting on Tuesday, but there's been an opportunity or an issue that we need to call a special meeting, and hence the meeting's been called this morning. I'd also like to declare any conflicts of interest, if there's any, anyone have any conflicts. We had the report sent to the councillors. Sorry?
There was a report last. Yeah, there was a report attached to the agenda like yesterday.
Sorry,
as
councillor.
well a brief report.
Would you like some time to read that report? Okay. Councillor, we might just take 10 minutes for councillor. Has any other councillor, have everyone else read the report that's been provided? Sorry, councillor Smith, I didn't. Wasn't it? Yeah. Just give a minute there for that. Again, it's part of those times when you need to act swiftly, and the opportunity that's been that arose from this this request that's come through. So the report was developed after a meeting yesterday with some of the components. Just a heads up, we had a great youth sustainability, CQ sustainability forum out at the Central Queensland University this morning with all the schools in our region. Fantastic roll-up, 170 odd students, and we were posed a series of questions and had like a Q&A with the students, so they were really fantastic. And Councillor Kirkland, we were put on the spot in the spotlight, but I think it was really great hearing the enthusiasm and the stewardship from a lot of those school leaders, really positioning ourselves well into the future. But what we're doing as a council really was able to be highlighted through that forum as well. Yes, Councillor Mates.
Mr. Mayor, do you mind if I ask, was there a bit of a theme with the questions that the students were asking? As in, you know, was there a certain interest that they were?
It's about sustainability and where council was going in that regard. I know it's a long journey and one that we're embarking on, but just informing the students about what council does in that space through our recycling programs and you know,
No, sorry, I actually meant in the questions they were asking. You know, were more the questions about solar energy or about recycling or about what, you know?
Yeah, a bit of everything.
Bit of everything.
Yeah, from there were a series of questions. We had over 6 speakers there. The state government, Nick from the university, Professor Klomp, being able to ask a few of those questions and different levels of government and what other organisations are doing as well. But hearing about what the schools can do as far as their recycling programs, what we're doing with their solar renewable energies, and also what we do at the landfill, third bin trial, those types of things, and plastic bans and as in plastic and single-use plastic bans, and also our balloon program as well. So when you're ready, Councillor Smith, just if you can let us know, we'll... You were right, Councillor Smith? Okay, righto. We might hand over to the officers, Evan, if you or Greg, would you like to speak to the report, and we can take some questions from there, councillors.
Morning, Mayor and councillors. Yes, the short notice. These sort of events come along from time to time, whether they be NRL events or others. It is a matter of things moving very quickly, so hence the short notice. This opportunity came across the table in the last 48 hours, and we thought it was worthwhile at least looking and running by this chamber, that's for sure. From an event point of view, the NRL is now locked down in Sydney, as I'm sure you're all aware. The NRL players are locked down here out of Sydney, so all matches are now being played in South East Queensland or Townsville. The NRL are looking to look after the regions and visit the regions, but there is obviously a cost associated with that. So they're currently dealing, we believe, with about 5 regional cities for several matches. So we're just really... The Leagues Club came to us through Rob Crow, through the QRL, and made the approach to see if we wanted to be a part of that. The Leagues Club came on board to underwrite the event, which was really positive. It meant we didn't have to underwrite something which takes a lot of the risk away. Becoming a sponsor, takes a lot of risk off of our hands, that's for sure. So it's all a moving feast at the moment, the dealings with the NRL, and also in a bidding war. So I suppose as a sponsor of a larger package being put forward, we want to give the Leagues Club, the Brown Park Trust and the QRL and the Capras enough surety that we would either be in or out as a sponsor of a potential event. From an economic benefit point of view, it's hard to quantify an exact economic benefit on this one. We don't have a lot of data on it in our hands. There could be a potential sort of 10 times multiplier, but it could be as small as a 5 times multiplier as well. So, it certainly, but for us, the bang for buck is credibility. We know that several people have chased NRL games here before. It's certainly something that you want in a Queensland regional city to give you a profile. It's national coverage, well actually in some cases international coverage, with the Foxtel coverage that we'll receive as well. So the cost of this event, and I ask that we keep the number that is quoted on there, the $200,000, we keep that in confidence at this stage, because we do not want to sort of get that number out there and jeopardise anything the NRL are doing as well. I just asked that from that point of view.
It's a public meeting, Greg.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just throwing that out there, I suppose. I'm not saying you have to keep it in confidence. I'm suggesting we keep it in confidence. That's right. And I was probably directing that to all in the room, that's for sure. So, but from a bid point of view, we will only be a sponsor of this event. We will provide that sponsorship is the recommendation. We will run the ticketing, the management of ticketing through the Pilbeam system as we have in the past, and we will, speaking to Alicia this morning, we will take a service fee for running that as well. So the in-kind is really running the ticketing, but we'll take a service fee off that. It's only a small service fee, but it's something that we do with all events, taking a service fee through a ticketing system. Won't be a large fee, but what the costs are along the way. And then obviously Advanced Rockhampton will run the marketing from our city and region point of view, not the marketing of the event per se, but the marketing from a city and region point of view. If you give me the authority to go forward and negotiate a complete sponsorship package, obviously marketing is a big part of that. It's the cross-integration with the NRL and how we join in with their regular major sponsors and how we might be able to get some ground sponsorship, which then obviously gives us more and more coverage on TV along the way. From an economic and social benefit, obviously there is that profile. It's another significant event for us in the city, for our residents. If I had to put the finger in the air and test the water, probably about 20% visitors we feel. So that, with a target of 5,000, probably about 1,000 visitors to the region for it. That's 1,000 direct ticket holders we would see. There might be associated people that come just to be in the city at that event. So I suppose I'll leave it there because the report does speak for itself, but I'm really happy to answer any questions, or at least the ones I can in what were the discussions we've had so far.
Yes, and thank you, Greg. It's very, very short notice. This has developed over 2 days, and again, we may not have all the answers to some of those questions offhand, but as time goes on, if we're supportive of it, then I'm sure we can get those answers back to the questions, back to those answers back to those questions. So I see a number of lights on, so I'll go to those questions first, and then we'll see if we can answer those. Councillor Smith, then Councillor Rutherford. Councillor Smith.
Yeah, I was just wondering. The other 150,000, who picks that tab up? Is that for other sponsors?
Other sponsors,
In local sponsors, or could be anybody?
yeah, we've been asked to, for our level of sponsorship in this, to make up their component of it, but there are other corporate sponsors and the operations as well. There'd be ticket revenue that could come back in to cover some of those costs from that other component of it. So we're more around the promotions of it, what it can mean for our region, as similar as we do with other events that we sponsor as well.
So second question, through the chair, the 5,000 patrons, is that as much as the Brown Park will hold? Is that
That's what they're telling me.
Is that the total?
That's the with the COVID and what they're happy
Oh,
to work with is 5,000 at this point. So they're basing all their assumptions and they're planning around 5,000 ticket sales. So they believe that they'll be able to achieve that. Councillor Rutherford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. And acknowledging that COVID is changing on a daily basis right around Australia, so that will happen, I guess, in a whole parallel world, I suppose, for want of some words to put around that. But just looking at this aside, I think it's a great opportunity. I was interested, but as to some of the games are free to air and some aren't. Do we have a guarantee that what game we get will be free to air?
No, we don't, Councillor. We would obviously target one that is all on free-to-air and Foxtel, but again, it will really be determined on what games are available and which one we can actually win for the right price as well. And you know, as I say, we're only a sponsor, but for them, they'll be looking at that price. If there's one that's worth this much versus one that's worth this much, they might forego that. So there's no guarantee of that.
It's a bid against other cities at the moment, so we're putting our best foot forward with regards to that being part of that sponsorship to see if we can get a game to Rockhampton region.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kirkland, then Councillor Mathers. Councillor
Thank you,
Kirkland.
Mr Mayor. So just to clarify, the $50,000 is going to be additional monies taken from the rest of the budget added into Advanced Rockies budget, or is it coming out of the Advanced Rockhampton budget? And I have a second part to that. Is the other advertising that you're wanting to do, the cross-advertising, for example, you said signage at the field and that sort of thing. In addition to that $50,000, what would the estimation costs be, and are you taking it from somewhere else?
Yep, sure.
Thank
Question
you.
one, at this stage it'll come out of the Advanced Rockhampton budget and then reviewed at the next budget review. Okay, so at the next budget review it could become an additional cost, it may not, but that's something that we'll review in the future. So we have to review all events from that point of view. Question two, the marketing money is just a diversion of our next month's marketing money towards this rather than where we might have been going with our Explore Rockhampton campaign. We'll change it over to make sure it's targeted to the right audiences for this one. So we would have spent that marketing money somewhere, so this is diverting it into the markets that might complement what is being done here. So there's no additional money out of the marketing budget for future reviews or now. It will come out of the current marketing budget, just a diversion to the markets required. I don't have an estimate on that, but as I say, it's our regular marketing budget. So, yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Mathers.
Thanks very much, Mr Chair. I think Councillor Kirkland must have been listening to my thoughts. So.
See that bubble? Okay, look, again, Councillor, I think it's a great opportunity, one that's developed rather rapidly, and Councillor Rutherford, you're right, with the COVID unfolding, it's something there with all events that they're managed and through state government. I'm sure that the NRL wouldn't put any risk around their future competition, and I'm sure that'd be covered off if such a proposal was to be successful. So I think the benefit to the region is finally getting an NRL game here. We've tried many times to achieve that over many years, and it's one that it's just been that goal too far. But if there's a perfect option coming forward, and ability to be able to do that, I'm sure our community will welcome that with open arms and vote with their feet and buy those tickets as quick as they can. So I think it's a great opportunity, and one that we can promote the region as an NRL possibility into the future. We just grow that population and then start to achieve what we'd like to go from there. So I see more lights come on, so I'll go with Councillor Kirkland. I think yours was first.
Thank you,
Councillor
Mr
Kirkland.
Mayor. Yes, I echo your sentiment. It is something, and this is, we all know how much Rockhampton loves football, and I'm sure that there'll be a take-up, as you say, voting with their feet, getting in there and buying those tickets. That'd be great. So just on that, is there an exclusion of local purchasing of tickets, or is there any, does it matter who purchases tickets? So if all the Rockhampton people purchase the tickets...
Again, yeah, that's too early.
Too
And
early.
as a sponsor, we'd and I'd go through Advance Rockhampton and Greg and to give those answers back. At this stage, it's very early, and as a sponsor rather than an organiser, we probably won't get that answer until they've
All right.
really gone through all the
If I
all the
may,
other
that then leads into my main question, which is around COVID, of course, and around whether we would be a magnet for potential breakout of COVID by bringing people up from SEQ and the concerns of the community really around that. So would we be enforcing any extra mitigation measures to...
Same as any other events of the show that we've had previously. It's all Queensland Health, and we'd be guided by their instructions, and there'd have to be a COVID-safe plan in place to be able to hold a function like that. So we've been able to achieve the Rocky Nats, Rockhampton show, the Rocky River Run, all under the cloud of COVID, and I don't see this any different. If there is anything there that's required, Queensland Health will allow us, give us plenty of ample time for the event to proceed, or whether it doesn't.
Yeah,
So,
excellent comment, and really good for the community to hear that. That's great. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
okay, thank you. Councillor Mathers and Councillor Rutherford. Councillor
Thanks
Mathers.
very much, Mr Mayor. Yeah, I was just wondering, obviously it's probably too early for us to know what day of the week that the competition or the game might be on, but I was just wondering, once again, it's just a little bit of forward thinking, but I'm wondering if we were lucky enough to have something towards a weekend or on a weekend, whether we could actively try to do something else within the city to try to keep the people here for an extra day or two. I know it's short notice, but if we could make some sort of carnival feel about it, just to try to keep the people here.
Again, great question. I think what we're looking at is we're putting a bid in, and that'd be subject to what's available there and possibility through the NRL. But I'm sure Greg's already been thinking about that overnight, about what other options we could add on. And Greg, did you want to make a comment on that?
Certainly, Councillor Mathers. I know what's happening in the city over this next month, that's for sure. So I have preferences for dates of games in mind, and I'll deal closely with them on that as well when they're making their decision, to make sure there's steer them towards where we've already got things happening in the city and really creating that. And also, they've all said as well, is working with local hospitality groups to ensure that it becomes that larger thing as well, not just a game of football. It's about the hotels and the restaurants and such getting involved as well. So, our challenge here will be a short notice game, and it will likely be that. So that's why the answer to the ticket question and the answer to this is, it's how much we can do in a very limited amount of time. But I think once you announce that you've got it in a game, I think a lot of people will jump on it very quickly, and I think we can create a carnival-type atmosphere as much as we can in a short time period anyway. Certainly, my preference game, which I won't put out there here, we already have something planned right on the next day, so I'll leave it at that. Sorry to be that cryptic, but it's certainly, if we get that one, we'll have a very busy weekend where we wouldn't have normally had a busy weekend.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear, Greg. Thanks very much. Just if we can get all the restaurants involved and pubs and clubs as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Mathers. Councillor Rutherford.
Mr Mayor, just your words around the COVID and the assurances to the community, that this is something that Queensland Health will obviously keep a very close eye on, and of course, with lockdowns the way they are. I think what gave me a little peace of mind with this is that it's 5,000 maximum, and we've had events far more than that in a less controlled environment. Rugby league is such, we are so passionate about rugby league in this central Queensland community that I would think that 5,000 tickets would be snapped up fairly quickly by locals. In any case, if that's how it happens. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity to bring something very special here for our community, regardless of, normally we do events that we hope will put bums on seats on airplanes and fill accommodation and everything else. And while this may have a small impact, this one really is about bringing something special for our local community.
Yeah, you're right, and I 100% endorse that. And I think just in the history of rugby league in Rockhampton and some of the fantastic players that have been able to produce from our local talent pool, is something there that we've always been asking for an NRL game to be able to come and support, and I think it's a great opportunity to achieve that and recognise some of those former players and the players that we've currently got in the NRL through an NRL game here, where it's competition points, and I'm sure you're right, those tickets will be very hot property once they go on sale. So fingers crossed that we can achieve something, but this is the first step on that journey. So. Councillors, I'd like to move the recommendation if we don't have any other questions, and I'd seek a seconder. Councillor Mathers, I'll put that. Those in favour? Against? Carried unanimously. Thanks very much, councillors. If there be no other business...
Special council meeting now, we're going to deal with what's on.
Okay, right. Special council meeting, I'm informed it's the only agenda item we can deal with this morning, so thanks very much, councillors, and let's hopefully we get this one over the line. Thank you.
Line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the fun line.